A 47-year-old man finishes a 10K race. He feels amazing. His time? Same as 5 years ago. 3 weeks later, during a light jog, his heart stops. The autopsy shows something that doesn't make sense. The blockage in his artery had been there for over a decade. His body had been working around it perfectly, so why did it suddenly fail? Here's what his doctor couldn't explain. Your heart doesn't just give out at 45. 3 invisible fuses have been burning since you were 28. You just couldn't feel them. By the time you hit 45, those fuses converge, and when they do, your heart crosses a threshold it can't uncross. This is the story of what happens in those 20 years while you feel completely fine. Let's start with what we get wrong about heart attacks.
You probably think it works like this. Your arteries slowly clog up with cholesterol, like a drain filling with hair. The opening gets narrower and narrower until one day, nothing can get through. That's logical. It's also completely wrong. Your body is so good at adapting that you can have a 90% blocked artery and run marathons. Actually run them, feel fine, win your age group. How? Because your heart doesn't wait for you to notice there's a problem. It builds detours. It reroutes blood through smaller vessels. It stretches the artery wall outward to preserve the opening. This is called positive remodeling, and it's why half of all people who die from heart attacks never had a single symptom before. Not chest pain, not shortness of breath, nothing. So here's the real question. If your body is that good at hiding blockages, what finally makes it fail? The answer isn't about the blockage at all. It's about 3 fuses, and they've been burning since your late 20s. Picture a rubber band. Fresh out of the package, it stretches easily. You can pull it, release it, pull it again, hundreds of times, no problem. Now, leave that rubber band in the sun for 20 years. It gets stiff, brittle. One day you stretch it, and it snaps. Your arteries are made of millions of elastic fibers. They're supposed to stretch with every heartbeat, absorbing the pressure wave your heart creates. But starting around age 28, something invisible begins. One elastic fiber breaks, just one, microscopic. You'd need an electron microscope to see it. Your body replaces it with collagen. Collagen is strong, but it doesn't stretch. It's a steel cable where there used to be a spring. At 28, one broken fiber doesn't matter. You have millions more. But the breaking doesn't stop. Every year, thousands more fibers snap. By 35, you've lost 15% of your flexibility. By 45, 30%. You can't feel this happening, but your heart can. When your heart beats, it creates a pressure wave. At 28, flexible arteries absorb that wave. They expand slightly, then spring back. At 45, stiff arteries don't absorb. They transfer the force directly to the wall stress. Same heartbeat, same you, but now double the wall stress. And that stress? It's looking for something to break. That's fuse number 1, but it's not burning alone. Let's zoom inside one of your arteries, specifically a spot where it branches into a Y shape. At this branch point, blood flow gets turbulent. Like water hitting a fork in a river, it swirls, it eddies, it scrapes. When you're 30, a scrape on your artery lining is no big deal. Your body patches it with cholesterol. It's a normal repair mechanism. Usually works perfectly. But sometimes, maybe the damage went deeper, maybe there was inflammation nearby. The cholesterol patch gets stuck under the lining. Trapped. Your immune system notices. It sends white blood cells to clean up the mess. But instead of removing the cholesterol, the cells try to absorb it. They gorge themselves until they burst. Their corpses pile up. More cholesterol rushes in to help, gets trapped. More immune cells die. It's a microscopic graveyard growing under your artery lining. and you can't feel a thing. By age 38, your body does the only thing it can: seal it off, build a wall around it, hope it never breaks open. This is a plaque, and it's a ticking bomb. Now here's the part that sounds impossible. You can have an artery that's 70% blocked by plaque and feel absolutely nothing. You can run, you can lift weights, you can feel healthier than you did at 30. Why? Because your body built a detour. Blood routes around the blockage so smoothly you'd never know it was there without a medical scan. The 47-year-old runner who died had 3 of these plaques. They'd been there for 15 years, never caused a symptom. So if the plaque didn't kill him, what did? That wall holding everything back, it's fuse number 2, and something's been thinning it.
For 15 years, that fibrous cap did its job. It held back the pressure of the toxic mess inside: dead cells, oxidized cholesterol, debris. But starting around age 38, something in your blood begins to change. Your baseline inflammation level rises. Not enough to cause symptoms, not enough to show up on a standard blood test, just slightly more inflammatory signals circulating than there were at 30. This happens from accumulated stress, metabolic stress, cellular aging, decades of microscopic damage your body never fully clears. And inflammatory cells do something specific. They secrete enzymes that break down collagen, the same collagen that makes up the plaque pap. So starting at age 38, inflammatory cells begin nibbling at the cap. Microscopically, slowly, year after year, the cap thins. The plaque underneath keeps growing. More trapped cholesterol, more dead immune cells pressing against the cap from inside. Thin cap, growing pressure. By age 47, the cap is barely holding, but it's still holding. Until Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning, minute 12 of a light jog. Nothing unusual, he's done this run hundreds of times. His heart rate rises, not dramatically, just normal exercise elevation, 140 beats per minute. The heartbeat creates a pressure wave. At 28, his flexible arteries would have absorbed that wave. At 47, his arteries are 30% stiffer. They don't flex, they transfer the force straight to the vessel walls. At that branch point, where the plaque has been sitting quietly for 15 years, the wall stress spikes. The cap cracks. Not a big rupture, just a hairline fracture, microscopic. But it's enough to spill 15 years of toxic buildup into his bloodstream. His body sees chaos, dead cells, oxidized sludge, debris that should never be there. And it panics. Emergency protocol, seal the breach. Platelets flood the site. They pile on top of each other, forming a clot. But there's no wound to seal. The clot just keeps growing. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. At 15 seconds, the artery is completely blocked. Blood flow, 0. His heart muscle, suddenly starved, starts suffocating. He has maybe 3 minutes before permanent damage. Not because his artery was blocked, because 3 fuses burning for 20 years reached the bomb at the exact same moment. Stiff arteries that couldn't absorb stress anymore. A plaque large enough to be lethal if ruptured. A cap thinned to the breaking point. Any one of those fuses alone, survivable. 2 of them, your body compensates. But when all 3 converge, normal becomes lethal. A Tuesday jog becomes a funeral. So why does heart attack risk spike between 40 and 50? Not because your body suddenly breaks at 45, but because 3 fuses lit in your late 20s and early 30s are burning at similar speeds. Fuse number 1, lit around 28, burns for about 18 years. Fuse number 2, lit around 32, burns for about 13 years. Fuse number 3, lit around 37, burns for about 8 years. Do the math. They all reach the bomb around 45 to 47. It's not bad luck, it's biology doing exactly what it's programmed to do. For some people, the fuses burn faster, convergence at 38. For others, slower, convergence at 58. Why the variation? Fuse 1 speed depends on genetics and smoking. Some people's elastic fibers break twice as fast. Cigarettes accelerate it dramatically, like leaving that rubber band in direct sunlight instead of shade. Fuse 2 speed depends on metabolic health. High blood sugar and insulin resistance create more opportunities for cholesterol to get trapped, more frequent patches that fail. Fuse 3 speed depends on inflammation sources. Chronic stress, poor sleep, inflammatory diet all make caps thin faster. Women's fuses typically burn 7 to 10 years slower than men's until menopause hits and fuse 3 suddenly accelerates. But the pattern is universal. 3 fuses, different speeds for different people, same convergence mechanism, and same invisibility. This is what makes 45 feel like betrayal.
You do everything right. Same diet as your 30s, same exercise, same habits. You go to your annual physical. Blood pressure, 122/78. Cholesterol, normal range. Weight, stable. Your doctor says, keep doing what you're doing. 6 months later, you're in the ER. How? Because standard tests don't measure the fuses. A cholesterol panel tells you the ingredients in your blood. It doesn't tell you if they're trapped in your artery walls. A blood pressure reading tells you the force today. It doesn't tell you if your arteries can still absorb that force. No standard test measures how stiff your arteries have become, how many plaques you're growing, how thin those plaque caps are. It's like checking your car's oil level to see if the brake pads are worn. You're measuring the wrong thing. The 47-year-old jogger, his last cholesterol test was normal. His blood pressure was 118/76, perfect numbers. But fuse number 1 was 19 years in. Fuse number 2 was 15 years in. Fuse number 3 was 9 years in. The numbers his doctor checked weren't tracking the timelines that mattered. And that's the truly invisible part. Not just that the fuses burn silently, but that we're not even looking for them. So if you can't feel the fuses burning, can you see them?
Yes, but you have to ask for the right tests. A coronary calcium scan shows you fuse number 2. It detects hardened plaque in your arteries. Takes 5 minutes. A score of 0 is ideal. Over 100 means fuses are burning. Over 400 means you're in the danger zone. An arterial stiffness test shows you fuse number 1. It measures how much flexibility you've lost. This isn't standard, but cardiology centers offer it. Inflammation markers, specifically high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, hint at fuse number 3. How fast are your caps thinning? These aren't part of a normal physical. You have to request them. And here's the hard truth. Once you know where your fuses are, you can slow them down. You can't reverse arterial stiffness, but you can stop making it worse. You can stabilize plaques with medication and diet changes. You can lower inflammation with exercise, sleep, and stress management. Zone 2 cardio forces your heart to build those detour vessels, collateral circulation. It's why a 70-year-old might survive a blockage that kills a 40-year-old. The older heart had time to build backup routes. But you can't do any of this if you don't know the fuses exist. The man who died on Tuesday morning couldn't have felt the fuses converging. No one can. Your hair grays, you see it. Your joints stiffen, you feel it. Your vision blurs, you notice. But arterial stiffening, silent. Plaque growth, silent. Cap thinning, silent. 3 fuses burning towards the same moment, giving no warning until they meet. Your heart is running on borrowed time, not because it's weak, because 3 fuses have been burning since you were 28, and you can't feel them. That's what this channel is for, to show you the invisible timelines running inside you, the ones you can't feel until they converge.
Your body is running more timelines than just these three, and most of them you won't feel until they meet. Subscribe, because the next convergence might be happening right now.